Have you ever wondered what's going on in a guy's mind when he acts a little different around you? Maybe he lingers in conversations, shows up in ways you didn't expect, or over-explains the simplest things. Here's the truth. When someone is fantasizing about you, they often don't even realize how much their thoughts are spilling over into their actions. Psychologically, fantasizing about someone triggers all kinds of subconscious behaviors. It's not just daydreaming. It's a mix of emotional connection, desire, and even a little bit of anxiety. When he's imagining moments with you, whether it's a romantic dinner or a flirty exchange, it lights up the reward center of his brain. This part of the brain is responsible for motivation and pleasure. At the same time, his body may react to these thoughts in surprising ways. Increased adrenaline can make him fidgety or overly talkative, while oxytocin, the bonding hormone, creates a longing for closeness. And here's the thing, while he's caught up in these feelings, he's often completely unaware of how obvious it is. So, how can you tell if you've become the star of his daydreams? Let's dive into the signs that reveal his thoughts might be more focused on you than he's letting on. 1. He's suddenly showing up where you are. One of the clearest signs he's fantasizing about you is his unexpected appearances in places you frequently go to. Maybe it's your favorite coffee shop or that yoga class you mentioned once. He'll frame it as if it's coincidence, saying, "Oh, I was just in the area," but it's rarely random. What's really happening psychologically is fantasizing often leads to a desire to close the gap between thought and reality. By physically placing himself in your space, he's hoping to create a real-life connection to those imaginary scenarios. It's his way of turning passive thoughts into active opportunities. Here's how to spot it. If he's consistently showing up in your world and it feels a bit too coincidental, it's likely intentional. Pay attention to whether he knows a surprising amount about your routine or always finding ways to be nearby. 2. He immerses himself in your interests. When a guy starts diving into your hobbies or favorite activities, it's more than just shared curiosity. Whether he's suddenly into the obscure band you mentioned or asking for recommendations on your favorite book genre, this is a strong sign he's trying to align with your world. The psychology behind it? Fantasizing creates an emotional connection in his mind. By learning more about your interests, he feels closer to you, even if the connection hasn't fully materialized in reality. It's also a way for him to imagine what it would be like to share those experiences with you. If he's enthusiastically engaging in things you love, especially ones he had no interest in before, it's a clear sign you're on his mind more than he's letting on. 3. Over-explaining simple interactions. Have you ever had someone send a casual text but follow it up with an unnecessary explanation? For example, "Hey, I was just thinking about that book you mentioned," turns into a paragraph-long justification of why he bought it up. This over-explaining isn't about clarity, it's about nervous energy. When someone fantasizes about you, they replay interactions in their mind. By the time they're actually reaching out, they're overthinking how they'll come across. The over-explaining is an attempt to rationalize their behavior, even though it often does the opposite. If his message or conversations feel a little too detailed, it's likely because he's trying to manage how you perceive them. 4. He tells you about his dreams. Sharing dreams is a vulnerable act, especially when they involve someone he's attracted to. If he accidentally mentions you appeared in his dream, it's rarely as casual as it seems. Dreams are deeply personal, and letting you in on one suggests he's already thought about what your reaction might be. And here's the science behind it. Dreams often reflect subconscious desires or unresolved thoughts. If you're appearing in his dreams, it's a clear indication that you're on his mind even when he's not fully aware of it. By sharing this with you, he's testing the waters to see if you're equally intrigued. If he describes the dream in detail or gets flustered while talking about it, it's a strong indicator that his fantasies are moving beyond the subconscious. 5. His jealousy slips through. Jealousy is one of the most revealing emotions when it comes to attraction. If he reacts even subtly when you mention another guy, it's a clear sign he's emotionally invested. Fantasizing often involves an imagined exclusivity. When someone also enters the picture, even hypothetically, it disrupts his idealized version of the connection. This can trigger jealousy whether he expresses it openly or not. Look for small signs like a change in tone or body language when other men come up in conversations. He might try to downplay his reaction, but it's often written all over his face. 6. He lingers at goodbye. Does he always find a reason to extend your time together? Maybe he brings up a new topic just as you're about to part ways or hesitates about leaving. This lingering behavior often reveals his reluctance to let go of the moment. Here's the psychology of lingering. When someone fantasizes about you, they savor every interaction. Lingering is their way of prolonging the connection, even if it's just for a few extra minutes. Anyway, this is why it matters. If he's consistently finding ways to stretch out your goodbyes, it's likely because he's replaying these moments in his mind long after they have ended. 7. Subtle changes in his appearance. Another sign he's fantasizing about you is an increased effort in how he presents himself. This could mean dressing a little sharper, wearing a new cologne, or adopting a grooming habit he didn't have before. Fantasizing often leads to a desire to impress. By stepping up his appearance, he's aligning his reality with the idealized version of himself he imagines in your eyes. If his style of grooming habits seem noticeably different when he's around you, it's a sign he's putting in extra effort to catch your attention. Guys, when a man is fantasizing about you, his actions, no matter how subtle, reveal his thoughts. From nervous over-explaining to showing up in your favorite spaces, these behaviors are driven by a mix of excitement, desire, and the hope of turning his dreams into reality. The key is to observe patterns rather than isolated incidents. When these signs consistently align, it's a strong indication that you're on his mind more than he is willing or able to admit. Anyway, have you ever noticed any of these signs in someone recently? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's decode the signals together.